In this video, we'll import the vocabulary for Ruth chapter 2. But before we do that, after the last video, I regenerated all of our text, the grammar introduction plus the first chapter of Ruth. And there were two issues, so I'd like to clean those up now. This one, John said goodbye, that Mary read that book. That's easy. Let's display that verse in the Lexicon and Grammar Development. So when we imported the data for Ruth chapter 1, say goodbye was linked to the verb say. So let's relink this to a different verb that is just say. Let's unlink say goodbye, and let's link say, like that. So now say is linked to word 70, which is say. So now, okay, so that one is fine. Let's remove this one. Okay, this one is a little bit more complicated. For the verb to see, we won't need that rule. Okay, the man where John gave a book saw Mary. So this relativizer is where, and it was inserted by structural adjustment rule, subordinate clauses, rule number 2, relative clauses. That's the rule you may remember. Here, we change the relativizer from that to where if the preposition is to. And in the last video we talked about how we have a rule up here that does almost the same thing. This changes that to where whenever we have these two prepositions, at or in. Now these two are in the semantic representations. And this particular sense of at and this particular sense of in are always for locations. So we know this is safe. And here we change that to when for these two prepositions. At sense B is always for time, and in sense E is also always for time. So these are fine. And last time I talked about possibly moving these down into this rule here. But let's not do that. These will be triggered by these source concepts. So we know those are fine. This one, on the other hand, is triggered by a target preposition. So here, we don't know if this is a temporal or a locative preposition or what. So, to fix this, let's tag this head noun as a place. Remember we have this new feature, thing, person, place, and time. So if this is a place, then this noun is the same noun. They have the same index. So now we know we're going to a place, and we can change it to where. So now let's try that. So now this is fine again. The man that John gave a book to saw Mary. So we're ready to import the lexical data, but I want to do one more cleanup issue here. If we look at the adjectives, the features, the more and the most, if the comparative form has more, the superlative form always has most. And if the comparative form has ER, the superlative form always has EST. Yeah. So these are really, we don't need both of these features. We can do just one. So let's eliminate this feature. Let's delete it. I'm going to click on it and push the delete key on my keyboard. Do you want to delete this feature? We'll say yes. And now let's edit this feature. Let's change the name first. Comparative and superlative formation. And let's edit those values. Okay, so now this is both ER and EST. And this is both more and most. Okay, so now all of those are fine. If we look at our form rules, okay, this is still fine. They're comparative and superlative formations, ER, EST, so add ER. And this one is also fine, more or most. But these, we're using the feature that we deleted, so we need to update these rules. Add the suffix est. It's the adjective equals, and it doesn't know what, because we deleted that value. So let's say adjective equals EREST. Then add EST. And we need to change this one. Okay, adjective equals blank, meaning it doesn't know what to put, because we deleted it. So more and most. Okay, so now these are fine again. Now let's go and import our data for Ruth chapter 2. This will be document number 7, Lexicon and Grammar Builder, Ruth chapter 2, English. Okay, select all the tables. Target nouns have features defined. You want to review the features for all the new target nouns? Yes. Okay, bird. We don't have one for animal. We'll say thing. Okay, bread. Bread is a mass noun. Chaff. Chaff is a mass noun. Okay, a foreigner is a person, masculine. Grain is a mass noun. Kinsman redeemer is a person. Land is a place. Master is a person. Minute is a time. Morning is a time. Mother-in-law is a person. Owner is a person. Shelter can be a thing or a place. We'll say place for now. Today is a time. Target nouns have forms defined. You want to review the forms? Let's say yes. Okay, birds, bread, chaff, containers. It should be mothers-in-law. Sheaves. I can't imagine today being plural. I can't imagine that, but I think that's the plural form. Target verbs have forms defined. You want to review the forms? Yes. Okay, we can ignore this one. The verb to be is special. Okay, blessed, have blessed, blessing. Okay, blesses. We can do this with a rule. Okay, we have this rule. If it stem ends with sh, change it to es. Okay. He bowed, he has bowed, is bowing, he bows. He carried, has carried, is carrying, carries. Comforted, has comforted. commanded has commanded, is commanding commands. Dipped has dipped, is dipping dips. He did. He has done. He is doing, he does. He drank. He has drunk. He is drinking, he drinks. He dropped. We have a rule that says when a stem is CVC, we duplicate the final consonant. I bet we could write another rule that says when a stem is CCVC, but we won't for now. He dropped, he has dropped, he is dropping. He drops. He entered, he has entered, he is entering, he enters. He filled, he has filled, is filling, fills. He followed, has followed, is following, follows. He gathered, has gathered, is gathering, gathers. He gleaned, has gleaned. He helped, has helped, is helping, helps. He hurt. He has hurt, he is hurting, he hurts. He knew, has known, knowing, knows. He left, has left, is leaving, leaves. He let. He has let, is letting, lets. He listened, has listened, is listening, listens. He met. Has met, is meeting, he meets. He moved, has moved, is moving, moves. He owned, has owned. He picked up, has picked up, is picking up, he picks up. Protected, has protected. He pulled out, has pulled out. He redeemed, has redeemed. He respected, has respected. Roasted, has roasted, is roasting, roasts. Separated, has separated. He showed, he has shown. Is showing, he shows. He sat. He has sat. He is sitting, he sits. We'll deal with this later. He stood up. He has stood up, is standing up, he stands up. We'll deal with the preposition later. He threshed, has threshed, is threshing, threshes. He touched, has touched, is touching, touches. Oops. Should be touches. We can again fix this with our morphonemic rule. This one here. If this ends with CH, touches. He watched, has watched, is watching, he watches. He worked, has worked, is working, he works. Target adjectives have features defined. Yes. Alive. More alive, most alive. Closer, closest. Extra. This will be an identity. Fuller, fullest. Richer, richest. Thirstier, thirstiest. More thirsty, most. I think more thirsty and most thirsty sound a little bit better. 13, cardinal number. Target adjectives have forms defined. You want to review them, yes. More alive, most alive. Okay, we can fix this with the morphophonemic rule. Okay, let's copy this one. If a stem ends with E and then is followed by ER. So let's copy this one. I'm going to push the control key on my keyboard. Do you want to make a copy? Yes. Now let's edit this. Change E plus ER to E plus R. So the stem doesn't change. It ends with E. The suffix does change and it's R. closer. Okay, we have the same issue here. Let's copy this rule. Okay, so the stem doesn't change. It ends with E. Closer, closest. Fuller, fullest. Richer, richest. More thirsty, most thirsty. Target adverbs have features defined. You want to review them? Yes. Already. John already ate. Let's say preverbal. John walked continuously. John worked continuously. Let's say clause final. Or preverbal. John continuously worked. John worked at his house continuously. Let's say clause final. Earlier clause initial. Kindly. John treated Mary kindly. Let's say clause final. John still is working. Let's say preverbal. Target adpositions have features defined. Behind. Target particles have features defined. Okay, all of the selected tables were imported, and we can check, if you want, you can come here to the ontology again, and lexical text, Ruth chapter 2, and none of these concepts are unlinked at this point. Okay, so we're ready to work on Ruth chapter 2 verse 1. That will be the next video.